Adidas, who's learning, learned that when you spill and it mixes all together, yeah, what fun comes out? This is what's happening right now. So we got spring mix all ready to go, yeah, right here. So yeah,
But if you look at it from the air, it says aloha.
Yeah. It actually spells something, yeah. Yeah. So we purchase our seeds because we have to have organic seeds. So we purchase ours from 3 different companies, and they pelletize our seeds. One, to protect it. So okay, imagine M&M, yeah. M&M crunchy coating protects the chocolate on the inside, right? So the pellet, when you pelletize something and you put a protective coating, you protect the seed. So better germination, yeah. And if you're going different temperature change, mold, mildew, all of that stuff, it'll still hold it, right? And then once it cracks open, you're probably gonna get, well, what we get is about 92% germination, awesome, with this volume, right? But you don't want anything less than 80 because that's, you know, a loss. So very good to have pelletized seeds, not to mention, if you were, I can't even see without my contacts, but if you were a seed, really hard to see. And how do you get it into that little hole? Yeah. Plus the seeding tray shoots the air in and punches it in. Very easy, and then our people push it further inside so it's embedded. So when it's pelletized, much easier. Yeah, it's like putting a marble, yeah, into the holding, yeah. So that's the reason. Huh? You good? Oh, umbrella. Yeah. So it's long and people. Oh. So we had some.
There's a little button at the bottom because you know how to time the questions. Everybody says questions. It's just a matter of timing it.
So we have behind you, there was an integrity issue with this channel, which is also a good learning curve for us. Oh, I'm good, sis. I'm so good, like for real. I'm like slathered in sunscreen right now. So this fell, and it kind of made us think about what it is that we're doing out here. So obviously things need to be tightened up. There is major water wasting going on. And so this is our next project that we're actually tackling, but we had so much heavy rain that we just couldn't have the workers out here safely doing all of that. But this did actually couple over with the heavy wind that we had recently. So this is a temporary fix for the moment, but of course sunlight, water creates algae, and here we are. So nice to tighten up the farm and see the problems when we can address them, and this is one of them. It's a really good eyesore out here.
But it's good to see that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but you know, it's kind of hard, so sometimes it's So again, you're gonna see these at different levels. We have more small than big because we had to force a harvest. So what would determining me forcing a harvest is if there's no recovery from damage, right? It's not so much the outside leaves because they were younger. I mean, they were older, but when they were younger, they got hit. We use neem here at the farm, NEEM. I'm sure you guys use it. It's totally, it evaporates within 24 to 48 hours. We choose not to use synthetic. Hydroponics in the ag world, obviously I think some of you may know, is not considered organic because of the Oasis Cube and the synthetic nutrients that go into the water system. Even though we have great GAP practices, it will never be unless the entire ag movement changes and they allow it. But I don't know how you would get that kind of nutrient to your vegetables. And we would never recover if something happened to us in the ground. Like all of our ground growers, if there's drought, you die. You just don't recover, right? If there's too much rain, you drown. You just don't recover. So in this case, it's a choice at this point. But we do use neem. And for those of you that are familiar with neem, you know, unless it's a regimented application, it does nothing, right? Just like orange juice, right? Unless you add vodka, nothing's gonna happen. So it doesn't happen, but the same thing, right? But if it evaporates, and so there becomes a regimen. So what we would look at is if I know that the head is at least 45 to 50% developed, there's no way that we can recover without it spreading further, we'll pull it. So we lose out as a farmer on poundage, but you gain as the consumer because you get the best possible product that we can put out, right? So it is what it is, and we're only gonna have that conversation during the warmer months. Yeah, come the winter months, or the cooler months, I should say, not even winter, it's like fake, is, you know, when we actually will see the heads come up to 45 days. heavy poundage. Everybody gets fed then, yeah. So right now, just so you guys know our standings, we recently got Safeway back on. That's how bad we were. Like we weren't able to supply them. Times has been on pause for 2 years. It's just a lot. So we used to service them all, but with the shift of things, it's just so hard, and it was just a really weird off hot summer that we really won't recover this until we get to January or February, to be honest. That's how hot it is, you know. And so the greenhouses, although people are like, oh yeah, it's wonderful, they're protected, yeah, you try walk inside there at like 11:30, 12 o'clock, I should be looking for people laying down, you know what I mean? So it's so hot, you know, but anyway, it is what it is. So
Why are these ones covered as opposed to?
oh, because these were newly potted, they were newly plugged in and propagated. And this is actually for our landscaping side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
To
this
be
is all
plugged.
landscaping.
But what are these? Are these?
These here are paleo,
What is that?
the ZZ plant. ZZ, you know the good luck plant?
Oh,
The ZZ,
okay.
yeah.
This is not edible.
No, not edible, ornamental, yeah. So that's why they're protected. If we were gonna seed for the aquaponic channels, then we would seed over here in grow media. And I'm gonna say grow media because we don't use dirt in the aquaponic tables, yeah? It's a blend, it's a compost blend. But it literally has perlite, right?
Yeah.
And a blend. And we would be able to put this right into the aquaponic table. Yeah, so, and then if we're gonna seed right into the aquaponic table, we would be using coconut coir. Absorbent, organic, won't clog anything, right? So it works out well. And that's just what we choose to use. People use other things, you know, good for them. So this is our grow towers. Wait, I'm gonna grab a butter.
I don't know if you have to press this.
Small spaces, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
So grow towers. Anybody got one? No? Yeah, grow towers, wonderful. Runs off of a 25-gallon bucket of water. We just chose to hook all of ours up so the nutrients were even. Kitchens, urban gardens, ag classes, science classes we've sold to in the last couple of years. Wonderful. You can move them. It has a little dolly. You can just move it, little caddy, move it around. Some schools for security because the thing will be gone by the next morning. But you can actually do great things with it. It's a good learning. However, we did learn some of the schools that tried to do herbs and then lettuce, and then they tried to do other things that bind up. So cucumbers, not so good if you're gonna mix it with something. It's gonna clog the whole inside just because they're aggressive vines. Same thing with tomatoes. Plus they eat differently, yeah? They're gonna want a different nutrient. The leafy greens did wonderful in here, but I noticed that some of their pictures that they sent, there's not enough sunlight. Everything started reaching, yeah? So it's gonna reach for what it needs, right? And so, but good learning for them anyway, right? So you can twist and move it and, you know, get it to where it needs to be. This was actually introduced to us by a juicing company. A juicing company actually had chard and all kinds of stuff inside meant to pluck off and juice, right? In this case, we actually plug in the Oasis and, you know, do these all at seedlings, have them grow all one time. We chose not to do it right now just because on a labor standpoint, we're just trying to get through what's happening on the table, which I'll pass these around. Here, you guys can carry this one. We'll swap these. Major drip damage. Look on the underside of the leaves, yeah? Butter lettuce, totally unforgiving.
yeah, sorry.
It goes inside,
Oh,
so
wow,
it
look at
actually
that.
pipes it up and it actually sprinkles out
You
through the
wouldn't
pipe
know
in
it
the
to
middle.
just glance
There's
at
a
it. You
reed
wouldn't
there,
know
like a
it
sprinkler
unless you
system.
pointed it out.
Touches all the roots. The roots will absorb. Yeah, it's on a timer. It's on a timer. Yeah, the water will go down into the main filter, right? Get the nutrients and come back, and then it'll flood it up again. So you hear it release, and it's off now. But yeah, we're not going to deal with the harvesting and the detriment of this until we get over what's happening to us. There's no sense. The labor, I mean, what everybody's average height is like less taller than me, not even taller than me. So I'm not gonna have you go do this. Yeah, you'd be fabulous. You know what I mean? I'd be like, get on the top, to the bottom, we're good.
Mataro,
Right.
rice, horrible for me.
I know. So in this case, since we have to deal with what's happening to us, rather than go up and down, better to go across. It's just easier. So we're gonna let this guy rest until it gets much cooler. Not to mention the fact that we've had so much unpredictable weather this winter. They were actually leaning and tilting and doing their kind of flimsy thing, and it's just not worth it. Yeah, like butter should never be stemmy. It's stemmy in here. Yeah, so it's just not a good thing.
But I guess space-wise, is this
Wonderful.
like
Yeah,
small
because we're
size?
using our vertical real estate. It's awesome. Yeah, totally. But
What
you
would
know,
you say the best crop for that is?
when you have good conditions, I mean, lettuce is wonderful, but arugula and kale do really well in here. Yeah, so really nice. Yeah, easy to clip, easy to harvest. You can get a bunch of leaves out of one. The reds actually did really well in here too. The reds were wonderful. We recently re-roofed and re-netted this house, so it's much more even. Yeah, much more even light distribution for this one too. So we're excited. We hope that, come December when we replug them, we'll have some really good numbers instead of throwaway.
What
So yeah.
happens when you get heavy rain with this kind of netting?
Nothing. Glides off. No.
It glides out, it doesn't go.
Yeah, I mean it goes in, but
Right.
misty, not not heavy. Yeah, so it's nice. It beads off the side, just comes straight down. We don't really feel too much of it. It retards the growth slightly depending on how long, but other than that, we're good. Yeah.
And you pick this shade pattern because it
Even.
reduces the amount of light.
Yeah, amount of light. Yep, percentage wise, and it works out really well. Even in the other house, the shade cloths actually can be removed. We could do reds in those houses. There's an auxiliary door that you guys will see. We try not to crack it open. So obviously, our nemesis would be birds. The same with you guys. They just do a lot of detriment. So that's why that side double door, this side a lot more doors. But just for the bug wise, I would like to see it all open. It would be nice to have a skeleton frame and see what happens. On this side. Oh, probably because the air is coming through here, yeah? Yeah, this part whips around. Yeah, we're a little bit different.